Yeepow! 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 Let's fucking go! Smash JT in the tub of the flow, dropping hot takes, watch the channel grow. When the red bangers hit, the lights all glow. Chat goes wild, everybody knows it's that moment. Can you feel it rise? Hot train burning, fire in the eyes. From the cult of Tub, the chant explodes. The legend lives, the story grows. Yeepow! Let's fucking go! Raise your glass, let the bangers roll. Yeepow! We steal the show. Smash JT's fire gonna hold. From lawsuits dropped to streams on fire, the tub's the truth, the takes inspire. He calls out fraud, yeah, we all know, but the realest words are yeepow, let's go! Yeepow! Let's fucking go! Raise your glass, let the bangers roll. Yeepow! We steal the show, smash JT's fire overflow. Yeepow! Let's fucking go! Let's fucking go! Yeepow! Let's fucking go! Let the bangers blow. Raise your glass, let the bangers roll. Yeepow! We steal the show. Smash JT's fire gonna flow. Yeepow! 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 Yeah, let's fucking go!
For you, the day bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that? You understand that? They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. You understand that? You understand that?
And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
There is nothing I love more. Taking my headphones off, fuck that. Bethesda, there is nothing I love more than to fire up a brand new RPG, lose myself.
Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what?
Fucking pronouns! I love nothing more than to be dragged out at every fucking conceivable opportunity so you can fucking current day us. Current fucking day! Fuck off! We can't see past our own fucking reflection. That's the level of our narcissism here at Bethesda. Twat waffle. That's all you fucking are. Twat waffle. Fuck off. Fucking gender ambiguity. Fucking current day Californian shit. Cause that's all we fucking know. Cause we're boring. We're so fucking boring. You're boring. You're fucking dull. You have nothing to say. Fuck your immersion. Guess what? Fucking pronouns. You take everything we love and you just can't help. Shovel, you are dog shit. Fucking crap.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Smashcast. I will tell you, I've had days that went by fast before. They don't hold a candle to today. Like, holy crap. I feel like I just woke up like 5 minutes ago. Like, what happened to today? Seriously. You know who didn't even wake up? That dog over there is like, after the dog park, he's been just laying around. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Like a lot. First off, I hope everyone had a good Tuesday. I had a very busy day. I barely got through even cutting my videos today. Had to take daughter to gymnastics. Son had tennis, school, lunch, breakfast. It is a full-time job having kids, guys. It doesn't ever stop. Wait, Ron Coleman is doggo? Yes. Yes, for those of you that saw the title, I did update it. Ron Coleman will be joining us in about 7 minutes or so to discuss the latest status of the legal situation. It's getting to the point right now where I don't feel comfortable talking about it really, because I don't know what I can even say and what I can't say, because I've noticed whatever I say, they twist around and try to make it sound like it's like the worst thing ever. And it gets really frustrating. But they can do that all they want. I'd like to think the judge sees right through that because they understand that's how lawyers are. So we'll see. But as far as other things that are going on, man, I don't even know. It's such a shit show. Life is it's a beautiful shit show, isn't it? But with that all out of the way, let's get to the hellos and the welcomes, because we don't want to keep Ron waiting when he does get here. I told him 11:15 his time. That's 8:15 my time. So whenever he gets here, we'll bring him in. But in the meantime, we got Baked Buddhist, first one in. Then Owl Hootie Hoot. Romanizer is here as well. Into the 64. I don't see her, but hi, Alyssa. I'm sure you're here as well. And all the people that are hoping to get in your good graces, that's the nicest way I could say it, are in the chat as well. Scared to say anything, as usual. But they're always here. They're always here. So a nice welcome to all the haters is glorious. I do see Ron just showed up in the back room, so I don't want to make him wait. I do see everyone saying the hellos and welcomes. I see Jay Viper, Batman, Lunar, Al Hootie Hoot, Odin Darkle, Nobody, everyone. I see you all. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Elicard, appreciate all the mods. Thank you for all you do. And hey, there's Ron in the chat as well. He even said, hey. So I will skip right through the pre-cast smashers, because I think it's more important to get to the man, the myth, the legend. Ron Coleman, how's it going, buddy?
You know, I always hear about that. People always call me the legendary Ron Coleman. I don't know what this legend is. What's the legend?
It's the person that you never lose. You never lose.
No, so let's get that. Any lawyer who tells you he never loses is a lawyer who never tries cases.
Fair.
There's so much for us to clear up here. So I mean, I'm looking at the comments, and someone says, I'm worried about Play Lunar. I'm worried about this judge you got. This shouldn't have even got this far. Dude, the problem isn't with the judge. This judge missed nothing. This judge gave us a very, very good decision. What happened, however, is that all the judges of history before her created a body of law. It's called the common law. It's called precedent. And one of the precedents that she is obligated to follow is that when there is a jurisdictional issue, that it is appropriate in most cases to allow a certain amount of what's called jurisdictional discovery. That's what's going on here. In other words, everything in the opinion was pretty good for us. But what the judge did say was, well, but, I might not have jurisdiction over this case. It probably really should be in California, which we argued. Mm-hmm. We argued. Oh, and by the way, I want to say hi to my adversaries, who I know if they're not watching, they're having someone from their office watch, because they're obsessed with you, Jeff, and I think they kind of like you.
I don't know how to feel about that.
Well, they're not doing anything wrong with that, Jeff. With your not knowing how to feel. Remember the time they attached the faggot?
Yes.
Judge completely ignored it.
I noticed that.
What do these people think? But look, anyway, I don't want to go there. I have such a courteous relationship with them. Although I'll tell you something interesting. The reply. So I'll tell you, some folks should know that in a discovery dispute like this, a reply submission is unusual.
What is a reply submission?
Okay. So anytime you ask a judge to do something, and this is true whether it's a motion or on an appeal, I want you judges on the appeal court. I have this stupid ass camera that changes colors based on what I do with my hands, and I have to switch that off. See how it changes?
Yeah, it's like yellow now.
Why would I want that? Why? And it's fine for Gentiles, right? But for Italo-Americans and Jews, their hands are always moving around. Okay. Anytime you ask a court to do something, you have the burden of moving the ball from where you are to where you want to go. Mm-hmm. So you have to first come forward with your argument, and as the case may be, with your evidence. And then the other side says, no, here's why Coleman's wrong. And then because the burden is on me, I get last licks. I always get to say the last thing. Mm-hmm. So on an appeal or on a motion, it's moving brief or moving submission. In other words, this is how I'm going to start the process of arguing. Give me something I want. Other side says, no, he's full of it. I get one last shot at saying, no, here's why I'm not full of it.
Okay.
In discovery disputes, though, the general rule is each side, it's not a motion. It's really, we're asking the judge to sort something out, and you don't usually have a reply. But these guys are super, super aggressive, and they asked me would I consent, because I asked for an extension of time because I needed it. And they said, well, we'll give you an extension of time on condition that you will consent to our request for a reply brief, which the court has to grant us. But if you consent to it, we're much more likely to get it. The rules are technical crap. Don't worry about it. Okay. They filed their reply last night, and that's what got you and I talking today, because, of course, your genius viewers panicked. I love you guys. It's from love, that I kid, right? Mm-hmm. So, what's unusual is that so the general rule is, like, say a typical motion, I get 40 pages to argue, here's why the court should do what I want. And then the other side says, get 40 pages to say, here's why Coleman should pound sand. And then on the reply brief, usually it's like 15 pages. In other words, reply brief is your chance to just sort of touch up. No, you see, they misconstrue what I said. Their reply is longer than their original submission.
Which is rare.
It's rare, and as a general rule, judges don't like it.
Okay.
Because it almost certainly means that one side or the other, or that the side that's adding to the reply is adding something new. Now, what I would now listen. One of the really bush league things that these guys do is, besides monitoring your entire life, and mine obviously, right? Or else how would have they known about my fantastic
Post.
faggot post? But some of my best friends are faggots, by the way. I'm completely. Although I sent that to an old friend of mine who didn't take it well, and he's not a fag at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out you never know where life's going to go. Okay,
Right.
One of his sons.
Oh, there you go.
This guy himself, 25 years ago, when we worked together in one of the great New Jersey law firms, taught me the phrase "lighten the loafers." Okay, this guy taught me "lighten the loafers," but now he's offended because I sent him the fag meme, and I said, "But why would that even why would you come on?
Why does it bother you? Yeah,
you're a guy, right? Ironically, even though he's still a heterosexual, he turned into a fag." You know what I'm saying? I think you hear what I'm saying. Anyway, so one of the things these guys do is they like to run to the court with things I said on streams, and I'm not gonna. In a case
you're not part of the lawsuit though. That has no bearing on anything whatsoever.
Well, what they would like the judge to think is that I'm exchanging that I'm waiving attorney-client privilege, or that I mean, like you said, that the whole thing with the faggot meme, why should that have been in there at all? That was just to get the judge to not like me. What that really does, and by the way, these are not bad lawyers. I mean, in other words, their technical skills are excellent. The lawsuit itself is meritless, utterly meritless.
I don't.
Okay, but I just tell you that there are a lot of people who can buy and sell me, and even you, okay, who have made a living off meritless lawsuits. I mean, that's.
Let me ask you that actually while we're on that topic. What at this point am I being sued for? Because I'm not. Look, seriously, don't you think even before jurisdiction, even before it gets to that point, shouldn't that supersede jurisdiction? Shouldn't the judge be like,
"Oh my goodness, no, it doesn't."
That's crazy.
No, it's not crazy. The court should not even have the ability to weigh in on whether or not you did something unlawful if it has no jurisdiction over you.
I guess, yeah, true.
But here's the thing. It goes back to what I said in some of my introductory remarks about precedent and the rules. The law does provide the judge with the option of dismissing a case where jurisdiction does not appear to be present. She took the softer option, which was to give them jurisdictional discovery.
Which you said that's typically what they do. That is
look, if a judge really thinks it doesn't fly, but I think what the judge was acknowledging here, I'll let you guys in on something. Very, very few judges understand our world. When I say our world, I mean the YouTube world. I mean, of course, Ron Coleman, live in many, many worlds, and you live in your regular factory job world. You plug the holes with the poles, whatever the hell it is you do all day long.
Yep.
JT. This world of streaming, very few judges and lawyers, and certainly old ones like me. So what I think may have been the case here is that the judge said, I don't really know this stuff. I mean, maybe they're right. Maybe we're going to find. In other words, I think anyone watching, anyone who, like your listeners, are so zombified that they could actually watch this over every night as they do. God bless you. God bless. It's from love. Did I mention it's from love? Okay.
Yes.
They would. I think it's really obvious if you understand the scene and understand this particular show. You have, like, we all have our circles of friends. Mm-hmm. You know, just like I do a regular show with Valiant Renegade, and I frequently appear on WDW Pro. So, like, I'm part of that cluster. You know, I've got friends over there, and I might be, but I'm not in business with them in any possible way.
Right.
You know, although actually they happen to be my clients, but that's a completely separate, you know. I think if the judge got that the way everyone listening to the sound of my voice, including my adversaries who are watching this right now, either live or recorded, love you guys, really. You're courteous and professional. And last couple of submissions, actually, I think you really kind of
pushed it
a little bit. And I don't know if that came across at all in my letter, but in any event, she doesn't, and her clerks don't. And she said, listen, maybe there's going to be some smoking gun that is going to demonstrate that Smash is really in business with Toasty.
But fair. But let me interrupt you and ask you this then. They have zero evidence or proof of that. They provided nothing.
Right.
And they demanded to the judge, they said, this guy's doing all these bad things to us. Let us prove it to you so that we can dive into everything that he's doing to prove it. That's not how a court case should ever work, to be able to just accuse someone, to be able to get access to their private information.
Well, you know, that's a very well-known and legitimate complaint. The American rules regarding discovery are really extreme. And in many other countries, including semi-civilized countries like in Western Europe, they sneer at our discovery rules. They flare their nostrils and fart in our general direction. They think it's really out of line how much information, how much adversaries in litigation are allowed to go through the underwear drawers, and also to publicize information. But it is what it is, and it sucks. It sucks that someone can, because what you're seeing is a miniature version. This is just the jurisdictional stuff. Mm-hmm. I try not to bog down discovery with a lot of over-designation of stuff as confidential. And I expect my adversaries to respect that, but sometimes they don't. So in other words, I could have redacted your personal email address. Mm-hmm. Frankly, first of all, I would have had to find it. You think I watched that 2 hours?
How long? That was about 2 hours of footage, right? That was or an hour of footage.
Yeah. And frankly, you don't want to pay me for that. Okay. No. And I wouldn't, and that would be double time, by the way. So I said, it is what it is. Because what's my concern? See, the judge has basically ordered that it all has to be given. And I think that I think she's made a mistake. In other words, I argued a letter ago. I said, I don't think. Remember, this is the magistrate judge who's the traffic cop. Mm-hmm. Judge Ashkenazi is, I think really she may be a Khazar, but I don't know. She is in charge of managing discovery disputes. Now, it's in the Eastern District of New York. Okay, that's like Brooklyn, Long Island, Queens. It's the outer boroughs, New York City, and Long Island. In the Eastern District of New York, they use magistrates a lot. In contrast, in Manhattan, the Southern District of New York, most of the Article 3 judges, the presidentially appointed judges, are not. They're hands-on, and they tend to not use magistrates as much. Interestingly enough, as is consistent with the practice in the Eastern District, the judge who I think we did very well with on the substantive ruling, handed off discovery to Judge Ashkenazi, who might have a different take on the case, but she's reading the way she reads the judge's jurisdictional discovery ruling was produce whatever would be necessary to demonstrate the extent of the connection between the two, between you and the three friends of yours.
But I feel like that sets me up to fail because that's so ambiguous. It's like, just give us things to prove that you're connected to. I'm like, well, I'm not. So what the fuck do I give you?
Well. You're bringing up the valid point, which is that it is difficult to prove a negative.
Right.
But that's why I have been so eager to produce as much as possible that doesn't get too personal and too gross, which turns out that you have no life, so there's really not even any of that.
Right.
There's the risk that people are going to post stuff that and people are going to go through it. And I've made, I don't think, frankly, that the rule regarding what gets produced in discovery versus what is publicly accessible, they're not the same. In other words, there's no reason all the stuff that you produce doesn't necessarily get into the public record at all, unless it's part of a motion. I argue that, Judge, you don't really think that every single conversation between them is relevant to the issue of jurisdiction, do you? And I suppose the answer to that could be, well, if they're talking about, anyway, it's great that we're doing business together and that you're using my New York address. Like, in other words, but then if those were the conversations, then we would produce those because they would be responsive. But the idea that, so what are you watching these days? You going, or where you going for the weekend? Crap like that.
Or what game are you playing, or do you want to play a game later, or something like that? That's not.
But again, on the other hand, if I can say I gave them the whole freaking conversation,
and there was nothing.
So where we are now is the disclosure period, and when the disclosure period is over, then they're going to come back to the judge and say, okay, here's what we've got on the jurisdictional discovery. Unless they have the balls, to actually acknowledge that, we've looked at this and there isn't really a bona fide basis for asserting the jurisdiction of the Eastern District of New York over JT, which is what they should do. And then sue them in California. You want crazy law? You got a much better chance of getting crazy law in California. You want stochastic terrorism as a cause of action? California is the place you ought to be.
Well, they should have done that from day one. But the proof here that we have of their bias is their activist lawyers trying to get a new law enacted to benefit them for cases to try.
Not law enacted, but a new legal precedent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To benefit them to sue whoever they want with it. Because that's an ambiguous thing. You know what, man?
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. And it's not such a generous giving of the I'm going to say no. They're not doing this in order to generate work for themselves and fees. They're doing this because they really believe in their cause. I really believe that.
Okay.
I really believe that because they are these are people who really put a lot on the line for their cause. Do I have to be more specific than that? So I think they're true believers, and there's a lot of that. I do a lot of politically oriented work, and I think these guys are the real deal. They really, I would love to know whether they're doing it entirely pro bono. I think it's pretty clear that your adversary does not have the money to pay for
Three lawyers.
All these lawyers doing all this work, and
unless he's being sponsored by somebody,
right, because then there definitely are candidates for that.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them might be in the chat right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's the story, guys. That's what's going on here. You got to stop. You got to listen. I understand it's entertaining. And I understand that you love Jeff. What's not to love?
I guess that depends on who you ask.
I mean, among stochastic terrorists, they don't come better. But, I mean, last night I filed your letter, and it was why was it filed late at night? Well, first of all, yeah, it turned out to be a lot more there than I thought there was. Like that's always the case when you have ADHD. Mm-hmm. You get into some bad habits because you can get things done really late and really fast. But also, the more I looked into it, the more I said, "Wow, there's really strong case law on this." And also, I had other things to do during the day, so back off. Mm-hmm. But I got it, and yesterday wasn't even a real day, right? It was milk day. But nonetheless, I filed it, and then I think it was last night or first thing this morning, one of your fans, breaking story, had screenshots of each page of my brilliant.
I saw that. Yeah,
I'm thinking. This is about it. I mean, my litigation for Gavin McInnes doesn't get nearly this much attention, and that's been going on for 6 years now. In any event, so listen, if you guys don't have much, you're people who watch a lot of TV. And play a lot of games, and you are people who really appreciate entertainment and cartoon-like characters, and you must admit that both sides, we have cartoon-like characters on both sides of this lawsuit. Okay, you got and which one is the hero, and which one is the bad guy? Not for me to say. Actually, no, it is for me to say. I'm paid to say, but in any event, I get that that's why I agreed. I agree. That's why I said it would be good for me to come on tonight, and I could even take questions from the chat if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great because I know that a lot of people have been.
I'm cool with it, and plus, I'd like more subscribers from my little channel. I don't do a lot of streaming because I'm actually a very busy lawyer, but I have a cute little channel, and my view numbers are so low, and it's a lot of it kind of pointy-headed stuff, but take a look at it. It's really I gave you my name on it.
Yeah, no, I've been telling the mods to share. And yeah, everyone's gonna be checking you out for sure.
All right, bring it on. I'm gonna let you decide what to pop up.
Nobody says, "Why am I in this lawsuit?" Nobody was listed in the original claim. Had like 6 pages listed on it, and they haven't brought them up since then. So just very random things that they just keep throwing things against the wall. Seeing
what? Nobody. I think the reason is that you've got star power,
or they're worried of his potential.
I don't. Well, listen. Part of what one of the things that this lawsuit was meant to achieve was to intimidate people like you, so that you would stop
covering or doing anything or saying anything,
hurting the feelings of their client. Let
me ask you from a legal standpoint: is there anything illegal about hurting the feelings of someone?
In and of itself, usually not.
Okay.
But if you establish a tort, a legal wrong, let's say defamation, then hurt feelings are if you're seeking damages based on emotional damages, which I refuse to ever let my clients do. And be clear, there are many cases where that is an entirely appropriate measure of damages, but I'm mostly a business litigator, and emotional, like if you haven't got real damages, like money damages, then I know that you probably can't pay me. But it also means I'm not going to be able to prove like once you put emotional damages into your case, your entire mental and emotional and psychological life becomes my bitch. Okay, if I'm the other side, so you don't want that. So yeah, the hurting. It is legal to hurt people's feelings. I do it all day long on X.
Yep.
But there is a point at which that can be illegal if it's defamatory or if it's harassing. It can be, and she's claiming that it is. She's incorrect.
Well, how about this one? Jay Viper, can you anti-slap over jurisdiction since it's so clear it's not in jurisdiction? They're clearly here to waste time and money. That's a really good question. Is there something we can recover the cost of for anti-slap?
Well, okay, so the question really is whether New York's anti-slap law would apply if their jurisdictional argument ends up being what the case is dismissed on, rather than the merits. And I don't want to comment on that now because that's an issue that I think is going to end up being litigated. But I will say this much: I'm going to be seeking anti-slap damages, and if that is the way we end up finding out who paid for this lawsuit, which is possible, then that'll be all that more enjoyable.
I think that'd be fascinating. I really do.
I think so.
Question. So she wants Hypnotics info and legally docs them. Is this even legal? Because he has nothing to do with it at all.
Wait a minute. Is it them or is it he?
He.
This is not the kind of YouTube channel where I expect a lot of them shit. Okay. No, it's not legal unless it's not legal, but I would have to, in order to get sanctions for that, I would have to demonstrate that the only reason to get Hypnotics info was to dox him. And that's a really hard argument to make when they are pinning they claim that he's really in New York.
Right.
They claim that, and by the way, even if they demonstrated that
doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Even if there were even if you were sharing revenue with them, with Hypnotic, and he did live in,
it still doesn't prove anything. Like they have another step they have to go beyond it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really grasping at straws, and I'm disappointed that the magistrate has been so.
Because you think they would think that. They would think, okay, so if they're going to get this address as proof of he's in cahoots with this guy, does that alone prove anything? No, it doesn't. So why is that address so important?
Well,
they need to corroborate.
But in there, look, you're talking about people who are very optimistic, okay, and who are they are cause people. They are Kool-Aid drinkers. Like you and I are, okay? We believe in our causes. We're committed to them. We believe in right and wrong, and they believe in their campaign. Look at the name of the law, Fem Law. I mean, this is what they're about. Yep. So they are optimistic. You have to be optimistic really to be in this business. And they say, if I can cross that bridge, I betcha I can prove because look, here's the thing: you and I and Hypnotic know. You don't live in New York, and you're not in business with him. But they don't really know that. They think they now. Why you would want to go through all this trouble? In other words, you could just as well have decided to litigate this in New York. Like, California is not a friendlier. Anti-SLAPP was invented in California,
Right.
and the judges are not shy about it there. But I guess the lawyers are here, and they really want to handle it here. That's and of course, the plaintiff is here.
Right. Right. But I'm not.
But the answer to your question, though, it's a damn good question, is they think they don't know what you and I know, and they believe that there's a smoking gun, or at least enough of a smoking gun that they can convince the judge that if you let us continue with the case, we're gonna find even more. Now, the problem with that reasoning is, if they don't find even more, then you will have litigated for 18 months.
And have nothing except a lot of bills.
No, but not. Well, you make that sound like a bad thing. But
Well, I'm not the one getting paid.
that makes two of us at this point, folks. No, but the point is, it's worse than that. It's that you will have been litigating for 18 months in a case over which the court has no jurisdiction. You shouldn't have had to disclose any of your confidential information, any of your private stuff. But
what Joe said here, he says, isn't the burden to prove Hypno lives in New York on them? Why should I have to disprove their? Why am I needing to provide information?
Okay, so let us not confuse the difference between the burden of proof and the rules governing civil discovery. Look, remember I was saying before how the Europeans sneer at our. What that means is you could be a company that is selling candy made out of rat brains, okay? Mm-hmm. And let's say it's against the law. And
in New York, that's questionable, but yeah.
And all day long, you're sending emails, and and everyone in the company is like laughing about it, and they're texting each other. And then so this is disgusting. I'm gonna sue them. My kid got sick. If you don't have one of those emails yourself, you can't win, because you're never going to get the truth. So in America, we say, fuck it. We're gonna say that once you get sued, that's the way it goes. Give us all your emails. Give us all your texts that could possibly lead to admissible. So the point is, once they have access to this information, then the burden is on them to say, from the pool of information that we've developed in the discovery, here's what we got.
My concern is with this fishing expedition, which is what it's turned into, is that the magistrate is allowing them a lot of leeway and a lot of rope to look around and find things. What's to stop the magistrate from, when they come back to them, saying, here's what we found, judge and magistrate, here's proving our case? What's to stop them from saying, okay, yeah, I guess that's enough because I really don't live in this world? The same excuse they had to give them this length in the first place. When are they going to put their foot down and say, enough's enough? What the fuck are you doing here?
Well, there are a lot of cases throwing out claims that were brought in New York because there was, after jurisdictional discovery, the court found that the party claiming jurisdiction failed to prove it. And I've been involved in many such cases on both sides. Mm-hmm. So you ask me when this period is, I mean, it'll be on this one, it'll be before the spring. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
And look, I mean, let's also keep in mind, I mean, I don't know if the reason they are so dedicated to keeping this case in New York is because if it goes to California, there's just no there. And, I don't know if that's the case, or if rather there's some other reason.
I think the reason is they want to win it there, so they establish.
You mean here?
Yeah.
They're being here. Yeah, right.
Yeah, in New York.
But
Because that's where they work.
that's where they work.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, so that's possible. But the point is, as of right now, if they can't, I would have thought after this ruling, they would have said, this judge is not sending us real love beams over our claims. And we're kind of on thin ice on jurisdiction. The guy lives in California.
Mm-hmm. And even you would say that this would be a wild established case on the internet for this to be jurisdiction in New York.
I think it would be. So the question is, I really would have thought that they would have said, okay, see you in LA. But for some reason, they're not doing that. So, because otherwise, if I knew the answer to that, what I would be saying is, Jeff, let's not get all twisted into knots over this. They're gonna sue you in California anyway. Yeah. And then you want to have Ron Coleman to kick around because I'm not admitting California. But let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
Well, how about this one? Jay Viper brings up something like
Jay again.
Yes, this is something I meant to bring up to you. Is the issue of Lane, her lawyer, publicly promoting doxing going to ever be brought up? They've already used this.
Yeah. So I spoke to one of his colleagues about that tweet, and I got to tell you guys, you sometimes this is a real problem. And it's a problem. It's ironic. The plaintiff in this case wants to take a lot of stuff that has been said on the internet out of the context that it was said in order to prove, defamation. At the same time, normal people, not lawyers, normal, intelligent people say, how about this tweet? You have to look at the place where that tweet fits into the conversation that was taking place there. It's not an admission that what we do is get discovery in order to dox people. It was a tongue-in-cheek. It was someone had already accused someone of doxing and said, "Oh no, I'll decide who's going to be doxed." Like, it's a fucking joke. You're not going to.
Context matters.
Context matters a lot, especially in defamation, which is why they can't win this case.
Right.
You know what you have to do on the especially on X to get defamation on X. I mean,
it's insane.
You would pretty much have to say that like someone's wife is a man. And that person would have to be like the president of a foreign country.
Well, ironically, you bring that up. She reached out to my wife, and I could argue tried to cause strife in my relationship because she didn't like how I reported on her situation.
Of course she did.
And ironically, Alyssa's suing me. Well, I'm like, I could have a better case against Alyssa than she does against me. Ironically.
If you were a pussy...
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah.
Because look, you're in the rough and tumble. I mean, look, it's really out of line. Look, it's a chick move to call someone's house up, and yell at them. What can I tell you? These are. I joke about.
She also challenged the entire internet to a fight physically. Like, that's a real thing. That wasn't out of context. That was like a legitimate, like, you could argue.
But now we're talking about why she's a person that we don't want to be friends with, and why she. But
well, I could also argue she's bringing this upon herself, though.
Yeah, no, and you could, and that's really the essence of our motion to dismiss, which is that look at the things this person says about herself.
Right.
Happy National Slut Day, as a former sex worker myself,
Yep.
sex work is real. You know,
Or cam whore or whatever the fuck she said. Yeah, things like that. I'm just like, or how she slept with a dude for a story. That was a thing too that she said.
all right, but who among us? Come on, Jeff. Who among us?
Well, I guess the point is you're welcome to do it, but don't start suing people for saying, "Hey, she said she did this." That's the problem.
No, but that's why we win the case when all this is over. But in order to screw with your life, that's why this is an anti-slap case. That's why this is a slap case, because since this is such an obviously meritless lawsuit under all existing, legal doctrines and whether it's statutes or common law, there's no case here. So why proceed with it? You think because they are ideologically or economically motivated to make a new law in New York, that could be. But the point is, that ain't going to happen. That is
right.
Even and by the way, the New York courts, the New York state courts, have acquitted themselves so poorly over the last 10 years. It used to be a matter of some pride to be a New York lawyer because there was a level of sophistication, and you had some great judges in New York who ended up being Supreme Court judges, justices. The New York judiciary today is a shithole. The way they allowed Trump to be treated, the Michael Cohen, like just political crap. And that's, thank God this is in federal court. Thank God this is in federal court. We got any more?
Anything else? Because I know it's late there. I don't want to keep you all night here, Ron.
It is late for me, especially as a senior citizen. But the fact is, I'm a night owl. I do tend to start late and finish late.
Gotcha.
But I never finish first, ladies.
There you go. Well, let me ask you this. Because I know there's a lot of concern over the Discord thing. Did that come and go, or what? What are they doing with Discord, and why are they coming for me for information when they could theoretically be subpoenaing Discord and stuff like that? For like what? I don't know what they're trying to get out of me, because I don't. Unless it's just provide thousands and thousands of pages of documentation of everything I've ever done. Which again, what does that prove? I don't understand.
I don't want to go into that.
Okay.
I don't want to go into that, but I will just generally tell you that they're on a short leash in terms of the amount of time available to them for jurisdictional discovery. Getting subpoenas responded to by technology companies and social media platforms is not a fast turnaround proposition. They tend to just, as a general rule, like if you try to subpoena Facebook or Twitter, especially Facebook and Google, like they'll usually tell you to fuck off.
Yeah.
And because remember, they own the universe. So if you have to come after them to, and punish them for not complying, a process that could take 6 months, what's the worst thing that can happen to them? They might have to pay some money. Money? They're not like us, okay?
Right.
So I don't know if they're going to get anything by way of subpoena in the foreseeable future.
And Manikanara over on Kick says, Ron, can you estimate the cost for starting an anti-slap in New York City?
There's for this case or in general?
I have no idea.
Then the answer would have to be no, I can't. I can tell you, just to be clear, folks, the anti-slap counterclaim or the request. So the law in the Second Circuit, okay? Second Circuit decides how New York law shall be applied in the federal courts to the extent that New York state courts have not ruled, or where there is a federal procedural issue that cannot be decided by the New York state courts. In the Second Circuit and in the New York courts, as I understand it, you don't have to make a special motion or bring a separate action under anti-SLAPP. If you file a motion to dismiss and succeed on a case that the court finds, if you raise it in your motion to dismiss and say, and by the way, Judge, this case is a SLAPP lawsuit, and we want sanctions under anti-SLAPP. The courts have almost, not entirely, but consistently said, if a defamation case is dismissed at the pleading stage, that means that it was an anti-SLAPP, that it was a SLAPP case, and anti-SLAPP sanctions are available. So there's no additional cost. That's already been baked into this case.
But the concern would be if they say it's not jurisdiction but move to California, then anti-SLAPP.
Then we could. Well, it would depend on the basis of. You see, the court also could transfer it. It's a lot of moving parts here.
Okay.
Good question, guys. It's been an incredible simulation of reality. I want to thank you all, and thank you, Jeff. Jeff's a great client, by the way. Sometimes a little bit too good because he listens to me almost all the time. But whatever I tell him, he buys it. Like, it doesn't get better than that. And that's the advantage of having a guy for a client. Because when you have a Jew for a client, he already used Chat GTP, and he's going to tell you what you should say. And it's like, God forbid, and he looked it up, and no, they're actually, believe me. So this is the best of all possible worlds. Seriously, guys.
I place my trust in you, Ron. But before you go, though, I want to say, first off, thank you. You've been incredible. You really have. And mods, please again share Ron's channel. Guys, go sub, bell to him. He puts out awesome content. You really do. Like, every time I watch your videos, I learn something new every single time, and I genuinely appreciate it.
Well, I'll tell you something fun is that the videos, like the stuff from my podcast, I'm really learning there. I'm having genuine conversations with people, and and it's been great for me as a way to increase my appreciation for people that I had been following for many years. I say to them, hey, you come on the show, and now we're buds, so that's pretty cool.
No, you've been great. Thank you again, Ron. Appreciate you, man. We'll see you. Bye. Oh, man. So that is the legend himself, Ron Coleman. And the situation that's going on right now, they already had, I could have kept talking forever with Ron, but I know it's midnight in New York. He's a very busy man. But Alyssa's lawyers already submitted a response less than 24 hours from when Ron put everything together, and they put a 10-page document responding to trying to knock down Ron's points. And I'm just like, this is crazy. How much work, like, it's almost like they're trying to prove to the judge that there's validity in this case just by how much they're working on it. If that makes sense. Like, judge, please just keep hearing us out because we spent so much time on this. Please continue to let us search for things. That's what it feels like. Like, it's so strange. I don't know, nor do I ever want to try to get inside of Alyssa's brain on what she's thinking. But if this person were logical, they would look at the situation and really wonder, like what is she doing? I think at this point, it's a case purely driven by anger and hatred, not that she actually has any case. Like, she's just very spiteful, very frustrated. I personally believe that she is a feminist that hates men, and her brain has fixated on me as enemy number one to her world for whatever reason. It's kind of like, what was that? Step Brothers. It's like, you have a really punchable face. Like, anything I can do about that? Like, no. I feel like I'm just that guy. I just have that punchable face from her. I'm like, anything I can do about that? No, you're just that guy. I'm like, all right, I guess I am. It's a very strange situation, though. It really is. And it's unfortunate that it's still carried on as long as it has. And something that I find very strange is how much they're fixated on Hypnotic. Hypnotic hasn't talked about Alyssa in, feels like, over a year at this point. And when he ever did cover her, it was very minimal. Like, barely any. I think he made like 1 or 2 videos on her, like talking about her transgressions in the gaming industry. Like, that's not a reason to sue someone or hound them down and try to dox them and find their information. So I find it very strange how fixated they are on trying to find out Hypnotic's information. It's very strange. It's very strange. So I guess my intent for bringing Ron on tonight was trying to just clarify where we're at right now, because I know it's been a very long time since I provided an update to people. And I don't like that feeling, because this case is being able to be fought because of the support of the community. So I want to be as transparent as possible as I can with it. But at the same time, I've noticed how they use everything I say against me. So it's a very delicate, double-edged sword with that whole thing. Nobody says, other than his banger tweet from last year, I can't think of one. Yeah, exactly. Optical Lizard says, by the way, Smash JT wasn't the only one talking about Alyssa's bad behavior. No, I wasn't. In a weird way, it's just, this isn't to pat myself on the back, because God only knows how the claw of the algorithm chooses people. But for whatever reason, my coverage of Alyssa was resonating with people more than other people's coverage of Alyssa. People could say, oh, because you were attacking her or harassing her. When no, I wasn't. Because if I was, you'd actually be seeing clips of things that I said that aren't cut out of context, because that's what Alyssa did when she tried to make it sound like I was saying bad things about her, when she cut important context out of what I was saying before what I said and after what I said to make it sound awful. But if you actually watch the things that I said when I covered Alyssa, no, it's just giving my thoughts and feelings about her. I'm not perfect, nor do I claim to be. But at the same time, I've heard many other content creators say infinitely worse things about her than I have. So I find it interesting, peculiar even, that I'm the focal point of her situation. Ron, thank you so much again for joining. Appreciate you. Have a great night. And please, guys, go check out Ron's channel. Give him a sub. Amazing lawyer. He's been a genuine pleasure to work with. And it's been some trying times with the effort that we're putting in behind the scenes. There is a tremendous amount of work that we are both doing. It is a massive weight on our shoulders, almost on a daily basis with this bullshit. And a part of me thinks that's actually what's carrying Alyssa forward with this and her lawyers. Is I wonder if she just hates me so much that she's like, oh, I can at least make his life hell for a little bit longer. Okay. What the fuck's that? Why does that matter to you? I'm a dude 3,000 miles away from you. Let it fucking go. Jesus. Like, I don't even know what you're suing me for. I still, after days upon days of reading through documentation, information, and accusations, they've changed their mind 6 ways to Sunday. What are you mad about? What did I do? Like specifically, what is it? You can't just sue someone because you don't like them. Well, I mean, I guess you can sue people for whatever you want, but like that's not a legitimate reason to sue somebody. It's very strange. It's very strange. And I'm not trying to be like a dick about it, be like, oh, I actually am doing stuff in the background and I can't say that. I'm like, no, I'm not. There's nothing happening. This is very fucking weird. Nothing ever happened. That's the strange thing about all of it. But anyways, I could go on forever about that. But anyways, I need some wine. Dexter, how you holding up over there? You doing all right? You good boy? Yeah, he's chilling. I hurt her feelings. Well, I find it comical too because they've gone all over the map. Like, you know, the spread gun and Contra is the best gun. That feels like the approach of her lawyers, just spread, just shooting everywhere. Initially starting with talking about like, oh, he said this about me. I'm like, yeah, bitch, you said that about yourself. Like, what? That's not a reason to sue someone. If you use self-deprecation on yourself, you can't get mad when other people say the same thing about you. That's not how it works. Trying to act like I have some sort of big conspiracy puppet master behind the scenes. I'm a pretty smart person. The best part about the level of my intelligence is I typically know the extent of how smart I am. And I'm not smart enough to have some sort of massive campaign behind the scenes of pulling strings of no. First off, I have 2 kids. I have a loving wife. I have an amazing dog. I have a very busy personal life outside of this world. When I walk away from the computer, outside of a lawsuit, the last thing I think about is this. It really is. It genuinely is. Maybe she wants me to care about her more and think about her. I genuinely don't. I am living the best of lives. And I know that really gets at the people that don't like me. But it's true. And I try not to say it too often because I know people that like talk like that are always trying to make up or project for how their life really is behind the scenes. No, I'm a pretty simple man. It doesn't take too much to make me happy. And I know how tough life can be because I've been there. And I don't ever want to go back there. And I've learned the best way to avoid that is just by putting your nose down and working your ass off. And when I say working, that's not like, you know, the technical meaning of going to work, getting a paycheck and coming home. I mean, like being a dad, being a husband, covering the gaming news, always being busy to my own detriment. I've noticed there's sometimes too that I just need to learn to disconnect. And I have a really hard time doing that. Because I like to keep up with what's going on out there. I like to know the newest stuff that happens. That's what always has driven me. I find it like weird that there are people out there that don't care about what just happened a second ago. I'm like, I'm like, what just happened? What just happened? That's always how my brain works. Which it works out well because then people can come to me and be like, what happened today? And I'd be like, I know everything. I'll tell you. So it works. It works. But yeah, it's a very trying situation though. It really is. And I am just very exhausted by the entire process. I really am. It's been a challenge, but at the same time, I could only imagine how hard all of this would have been without you guys. The financial burden this would have put on my family up to this point would have been catastrophic. My concern for the future is the unknown. That's why I want this to end. That's why I want her to drop it. Because I know she doesn't have a fucking case. I know that. I am very confident. My concern is not losing the case. My concern is how much is it going to cost me before we figure that all out and drop it. And when I say how much is it going to cost me, I mean, if this does go beyond, which is getting pretty close, if this goes beyond what has been donated already, which has been an insane amount. In my wildest imagination, I could have never imagined this ever even being a thing. Was it like $70,000 or something? That's disgusting. When I hear that kind of money, I think a million things that could have been spent on. No offense to Ron, love you, Ron, but a million things I'd rather spend or have the community spend $70,000 on instead of a lawyer. A lawyer is not one of those million things. So that's the real unfortunate part. My wife is an oncology nurse. We've dealt with hearing a lot of stories about insurance, financial struggles, and people with a lot of rough health situations. And that's immediately where my mind goes to. When I think of like a lot of money like that, I'm like, the places it could have been better spent. That's what breaks my heart. I know that sounds super cheesy, but that's the kind of stuff that I think about. But yeah, it is what it is. Timebot Holler says, Smash, you should see if it's possible to transfer the lawsuit to Sharia law courts. Could you imagine? I don't even know the first thing about that shit. But yeah, that's I guess where I'm at with the whole lawsuit stuff. I feel uneasy because there's no resolution still. I'm hopeful that comes soon, but my brain is already at the point where I'm like, I'm not falling for that feeling again. So now it's just a very uneasy, uncomfortable unknown, which sucks, but it is what it is. Anyways, with that all being said, I know we had a very belated precast Smashers because Ron, I didn't want to make him wait too long because it was already super late over in New York. Are they going to try to use Ron to establish jurisdiction for my attachment to New York because my lawyer's in New York? I wouldn't put it past him. Anyways, guys, we are an hour and 15 minutes in. Let's get to the precast Smashers.
Yeah! Before the stream even loads, you already know. Chat lights up, screen ain't live, clock still ticking, but they've arrived. Names rolling, colors flash, precast crew throwing fucking cash. Tears hide, mic's not on yet, the Smashers already gone. Dropping love, dropping flame, before the show they change the game. Precast Smashers! Let it rain, super chats before the frame. Precast Smashers! Loud and fast, supporting Smash before it's cast. Stream ain't started, but the legends already did. That's the Precast Smashers.
Kyle, I love that video, by the way. That's amazing. It really is. All right. First one in. We got Baked Buddhist for the 2-banger who says, twat waffle, pronouns. Shout out to Baked Buddhist. Appreciate you. Appreciate all you guys. We got Sergeant Sapient for the 2 every single night. Legendary mod status for the 2-banger. Says, toss a coin to your grifter. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. We got Raptor Kratos for the 5-banger. Life is Strange. Donate. No. Is that what he's doing now? Oh, which, by the way, we talked about this on the game stream when I beat Dispatch the other day, which great game, by the way. Highly recommend people play it. It's awesome. Really, really fun game. People are like, what are you playing next? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe put it to a vote. And I don't know. I think it was Sergeant Sapient. I can't remember who it was in the chat. Remind me if you know. Somebody was like, oh, you should do like a whichever game gets the most donations. You should play that next. And I was like, yes, but it needs to be out of the list of games that I provide. Because I ain't about to be playing Dustborn. All right. Just saying. We got Calisoka, legend Calisoka in the house, gifting the 5 Smash JT memberships. And with the first one, we always get the full McRib. But first,
Get some sauce!
okay.
Baby, the McRib is back and it's looking sexy. Drop and make rib sauce. Yeah, it's getting messy. You like McRib. It's carnivore lit. The McRib. Get that McRib drip. McRib drip. Get that McRib drip.
Shout out to Calisoka. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Sergeant Xavier says it was B-Man. That's right. It was B-Man. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Sergeant Xavier for another 2. You didn't hurt her feelings. You embarrassed her. Even worse. Nev G for the 2. At Smash. You're wicked smart. My boy's wicked smart. Dexter, you wicked smart? You pocket Colin Havard? Who's a wicked good boy? Yeah. Shit. Shout out to Nev G. Appreciate you, bro. We got Karate Werewolf with the doggy Shibu Inu. $3 super sticker. Appreciate you, Karate Werewolf. Thank you so much. And the Nerdy Mechanic coming through with the 5 membership gifty. Let's fucking go.
Get some subs!
And this one. Shout out to Nerdy Mechanic. Appreciate you so much. Thank you very much. Me, A2B for the IDR 50K. She is not that dumb. Her lawyer is cheap. You're expensive. Winning is not her aim. Inflict as much damage in longest possible time is what she wanted. I guess the only thing she didn't anticipate was the reaction from the community and the support. Ironically, the thing she tried to do to ruin me and end my career is the very thing that assisted getting the word out about me and having people find out who I am. So congrats, Alyssa. I hope Lake Monster dropping the $400 Red Boy Super Mega Banger. Don't know what Ron charges to be on stream, but lawyers are expensive. Holy shit. That's insane. I know Lake Monster went to bed, but shout out to Lake Monster again. Genuinely appreciate you, bro.